One of the most dependable and renewable energy sources on Earth could be the Earth itself.
The core of the Earth is very warm, so there's a big temperature gradient between it and the surface. So there's a natural flow of heat by conduction to the surface.
Tapping into the planet's heat to create electricity is called geothermal energy. It's a virtually unlimited source of power. But first, we need to go underground and harness that heat in the form of steam.
What's good about geothermal is all the power plants in the world run on steam. We have naturally occurring steam. Therefore, we don't need to burn any fuel.
Geothermal energy is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And because of that, it has significant advantages over wind, solar, and other forms of renewable energy.
Only a small fraction of households use geothermal in the U.S. today. Why aren't we using more? This is Northern California's Bottle Rock Geothermal Plant. It sits on the largest steam field in the U.S. 15 years ago, it went bust. It had a hard time competing with cheap oil. And then the easy-to-reach steam began to fizzle out.
The facility had been abandoned. Areas of the facility were flooded with water. There were no phones, no working computers, no communication systems.
But the geothermal picture looks very different today. The price of oil has shot through the roof. Global warming is no longer a geeky scientific theory.
We have to do something in this nation with our renewable energy infrastructure. And geothermal energy is probably the best prospect we have. The plants have significantly less impact on the environment. We have almost no pollutants that come out of the facility.
And now, using enhanced geothermal technology, Bottle Rock is humming along once again.
This hiss is music to my ears. What you hear is steam passing through the pipe.
They got the steam hissing again by injecting water into the steam field.
The way that happens here is by using recharged water. That is water from local cities that is treated and then pumped to the geysers and put back into the steam producing area. And we bring that steam back to the surface and run them through the power plants and make electricity. At the present time, we bring in from 2 different sources about 20 million gallons per day.
The water is heated by the volcanic rock some 9,000 feet deep, shoots up a series of wells, flows through these pipes, before pouring into the turbine at 325 degrees.
That steam goes through a turbine that spins a generator and makes electricity.
They're also using new drilling techniques gleaned from the oil industry.
One of the main differences is in the elevation of the drilling platform itself. At the present time, we're sitting about 30 feet above the ground.
This allows us to drill at a very sharp angle to follow where the steam is and get more productivity out of it.
So what we try to do is we drill down for a ways vertical, say for instance to 5,000 feet.
Then they drill horizontally, trying to intersect deep fractures full of steam.
This steam flows directly to the power plant, and it will spin the machinery that makes electricity that goes out to the grid so we can turn on our lights, air conditioner, and watch movies.
Bottle Rock is now considered a green, state-of-the-art geothermal plant.
We're very excited about this project. This project is going to supply more than 30,000 homes with electricity, all renewable energy.
But wait a second. The heated Bottle Rock is found at a depth of only 9,000 feet. Does this mean you can only get geothermal energy when the heat is close to the surface? Dr. Jeffrey Tester of MIT believes that it's possible to extract geothermal energy anywhere on Earth, if you go deep enough.
We would like to go very deep into the Earth ultimately. It's an enormous warehouse of energy that we could utilize. Many, many thousands of times the primary energy that we consume annually right now in the United States is literally under our feet.
If you go down far enough anywhere in the world, there is hot rock down there, and you can extract the heat from it.
Just how much energy is down there? The west coast of the U.S. is seismically active and very hot. If we go down 6 miles below St. Helena, California, the temperature is nearly 600 degrees Fahrenheit. But what about the East Coast? Let's take a dive into the Earth's crust below Raleigh, North Carolina. 2 miles below the surface, temperatures will hit 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Descending further into the Earth, at 6 miles, the temperature is approaching 400 degrees. The greatest challenge to extracting that energy has been drilling precisely several miles into the Earth and keeping the cost down. In conventional drilling, each time a bit breaks, you have to pull out miles of tubing and start all over again. Jeffrey Tester and his PhD student, Chad Augustine, believe they have the solution.
We're going to do methanol from now on instead of hydrogen because it's easier to start with, it's easier to control the flame.
They're designing a completely new drill, which will burn its way through rocks deep into the Earth.
It's really essentially like a rocket engine that produces this flame that had a diameter of about 5 to 6 inches. And what we're trying to do is to use a thermal source, a flame of sorts, to thermally cause the rock to fracture and melt.
In his lab, he is simulating the high-pressure conditions deep inside the Earth.
We have to go deep into the Earth where we would have water-filled holes and have to produce these flames in a high-pressure water environment. So that's what's different about it, and we're hoping that these experiments we're conducting here will be able to demonstrate the feasibility of that technology.
Hot, dry rock would work like this. Engineers drill as much as 6 miles into the Earth. They fracture rocks which are heated up to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. They then inject water into the system through one borehole and pump the water out through a second hole. As it returns, the superheated water can run a turbine to produce electricity. Hot, dry rock could meet all of the Earth's energy needs for thousands of years. But all geothermal energy comes with one small hitch: earthquakes.
The black line here that I'm drawing is the magnitude 3s and above. Still very small. You can feel them. They're felt in the geysers.
Seismologist Ernie Major sees a relationship between small earthquakes around the Bottle Rock plant and its new water injection techniques.
Started injecting water, and they have several peaks here in water injection. So yes, the seismicity has risen over the years, but the hazardous seismicity has not.
We do have some more earthquakes. There is a cause and effect, but it is a fact of life and we all live with it.
People in other parts of the world are not so blasé about quakes. Some very deep drilling was recently halted in France.
This is a map of Europe. It shows you right here, this is Soultz, the French geothermal area that people have been talking about, in which seismicity has caused a problem.
Another recent earthquake took citizens of Basel, Switzerland by surprise.
It basically caused a magnitude 3.5.
Ernie Major insists that the quakes aren't strong enough to be dangerous.
It's just a matter of doing the proper research to understand what's causing these earthquakes and how to control these earthquakes, because they can be controlled. We made them, we can stop them.
With public support and hot, dry rock technology, geothermal may be ready for its great leap downward.
There's an awful lot we can do right now to make this a much larger, usable resource for our country and for other countries.
Next, a discovery in the lab leads to a new generation of solar cells that are super efficient, flexible, and cheaper